What's up, everybody? Time for your 205 live review for 6/13/2017. I'm so used to looking down and it being 12, and I have to count back 2 days. So at first I got a little confused. I was like 6/12, 6/12, but 6/13/2017. For some reason I don't know what it is, but I always end up like forgetting about 205 live until like really late on Tuesday, and then I'm like, oh crap, I gotta watch 205 live. and I think that's what happened again this week. I don't know what it is about 205 live. I don't know if it's because I don't watch Raw and they do some stuff on Raw. I don't know what it is, but like for some reason I keep forgetting to watch 205 live. Do you have that same issue?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay.
Well, and also we were doing predictions last night too, so
That's true. I think that got me confused too. But I mean, we were talking about it just a few seconds ago off camera, but it kind of goes hand in hand with the cruiserweight division and 205 live. So we might as well talk about it because this will probably be a short review just because 205 live's pretty short within itself. If anyone watches Bring It to the Table, I love the show, by the way. But if anyone watches Bring It to the Table, it's the show hosted by Peter Rosenberg on the WWE Network. It's a pretty good show. It's really like, I don't know if it really is, but it really at least feels very fan centric. It feels like the fans are actually asking these questions, even though they're probably not. But it feels like stuff that fans actually care about. I don't know if you watched the show or not, because I know I had mentioned it to you like a long time ago, and you were like, I'm not watching the show. So I don't know if you've watched it yet. But JBL, they were talking about the whole dive thing that Randy Orton had started. And JBL said, and I quote, superstars who dive don't know, they dive because they don't know how to work. Superstars flip because they don't know how to work. And I laughed a lot out loud. I even had to send it, send the Snapchat to a couple of people because I just thought they would get a kick out of it. I disagree. I know JBL's from like another era, so like he's probably one of those guys who just doesn't, if you dive, you don't know how to work. He's probably just one of those guys who just thinks that way. But I feel like diving is a part of their work. That is like that's a part of their moveset. That's a part of what they do. Like because it's funny, and I think it was Corey Graves who brought up the fact that Roman Reigns he does a dive, not all the time, but from time to time he does a dive. And obviously JBL loves Roman. And we've seen even Cena do like the springboard stunner, which is somewhat of a dive. It's a springboard, so there's a dive within it. Like the guys who like JBL would be really high on, they've done dives from time to time too. So like I don't know. For me, it's kind of weird to say that like if you do a dive, you don't know how to work. Like, would you say that Neville doesn't know how to work because he can do the red arrow? I and I kind of hate it because it would be interesting to ask JBL that question. Like, a lot of these champions, like, I bet you he has no issue with, like, Seth Rollins, who's not a champion right now, but still, Seth Rollins, who he does, dives as well. Dean Ambrose, all of these guys, like, everybody does them. So, like, I don't feel, I just extremely disagree with that, is what I'm trying to say. But, Casey, any thoughts on that before we get into the 205 live review?
I mean, first of all,
Same, Casey. Same.
I've never really been a JBL fan, like, period at all. Even back, in the Acolytes, I really wasn't that big of a fan of his. But more recently, he's been making me just not like him. With the bullying, with all this shit, and it's getting to the point where it's like enough. And he's one of those guys who, and I get it, the old school guys want it to be, kept traditional and whatever, but that's not how things evolve. Things evolve, things change. Like, it's like, look at a car. People like classic cars, but over time to make things better. You don't want, if you're driving cross country on a trip, you're not gonna use a car that was made in 1938 because you're not gonna have good gas mileage. Things have to evolve to make things better. Okay, I get that a lot of guys don't like the diving and think it's just flashy to get attention, but trying to do in wrestling get the fans' attention so that they're into the match, not what we're trying to do. Like, is that? I mean, that's what I always thought it was. Get people into the match. It's just, I don't even know. I mean, and so many, even we know how much the old school whatever. He's one of the guys. He'll talk up and has so much respect for. Is somebody that we all have respect for. The Undertaker. Guess what The Undertaker does occasionally? A dive over the top rope. So why is it okay for, and I get it, he's the Phenom, he can do whatever he wants, but why is it okay for some people to do a dive, but then, the guy does it, oh, he's just, he doesn't know how to work. It's just ridiculous. I don't know. I'm sure we could probably do an entire video just talking about stupid.
We could, and I thought about it, but and it may happen. But we started out with the Akira Tozawa, Titus O'Neil, Titus brand thing. It was hilarious, like, bruh. But just both of them. Like, Titus is funny within himself, but Akira Tozawa, he's funny as well. I just really like this segment. It was just funny. Obviously Titus is trying to, he's trying to promote his brand. He's trying to, say, Tozawa, what did he say? Cha, ching, or something. But I like this whole thing. Like, I like the whole Titus brand. I like that he's trying to expand it. And I like that he keeps, like, if they're not gonna put him in the ring, he's a funny guy. So have him go out there and kind of do this crazy stuff. That like, and I think it like kind of forces you to care about Titus O'Neil, which is nice because I feel like we haven't really cared about Titus O'Neil for a while. So I like it. I was excited though. They had another segment later, but we'll get to it here in a little bit. But Casey, any thoughts on Akira Tozawa and Titus O'Neil?
Don't lie, we never cared about Titus O'Neil.
I cared about him during that first like heel singles run he had where he was like, that's my favorite part of Titus. I still do that.
I definitely like these segments. I just couldn't help, wondering why everyone going after Akira Tozawa. Like, the Brian Kendrick started. Now the Titus brand, like, next it's going to be like NFL teams going to try to get him, the NBA going to try to probably, Cleveland might try to get him. They, maybe they win next year. I'm just saying. The Browns, because they'll never win the Cavaliers.
All right, we got the first match of the night, which was Arya Davari versus Cedric Alexander, and they kind of showed a little recap of kind of what happened last night on Raw, which was nice because I didn't watch Raw, so that helps. Last night, obviously Monday, because I watched it on Wednesday, but it said last night on anyway. I like this match. I thought it was a good match. I like Davari. I like his new character. I do think it's kind of random. Like, it just kind of came out of nowhere, but I do like it though. I do like his new character. His new like flashy, I use my family to get what I want type of character. And I enjoy Cedric Alexander as well. Like, I like watching him in the ring. It's always fun to watch. But I like this match. I did. Freaking when Noam Dar came out with Alicia Fox on the doggone big screen, I really like that. And I guess that's what they have to do now since Tyler Breeze doesn't get to use it anymore. Which sucks. But I thought that was pretty funny. I love how it made no sense. But I mean, obviously as a fan, you would have to hear her. I love how she was like just piped into the arena. I thought that was hilarious. Like I don't know what it was about it, but that was freaking hilarious to me. How she was just kind of piped into the arena, and for some reason I don't know what it is, but like I watched this match with not no sound, but it was like really low because I was at the gym and I didn't have headphones today. Uh, so I was watching this with practically no sound. For some reason, matches to me just seem better without sound. I don't know what it is. I think it like forces you to actually watch the match instead of focusing on the crowd or the commentary or the referee or some other sound component that you could focus on or something. I don't know what it is. I don't know if you ever watched a match without sound and actually thought it was better than it was with sound, but I've done it a couple times and it for some reason it has this like weird effect. Also, I like this new commentator that's on I don't remember his name right off the top of my head, but I like him though. I've seen him before, I'm pretty sure, but I like him. I'm glad they pulled Tom Phillips off of 205 Live, not because I don't like Tom Phillips, but I feel like Tom Phillips is doing everything right now. We're doing NXT, and SmackDown and 205 Live at the time. But I was surprised they didn't pull Tom Phillips from NXT instead of pulling him from 205 Live. I felt like logically it made more sense to pull him from NXT just because obviously 205 Live's traveling with SmackDown. So, but Casey, any thoughts on Arya Daivari versus Cedric Alexander? Also, Cedric hung up on Alicia Fox, which was really funny.
First of all, this man ain't never been to the gym. Don't let him lie to you. He ain't never been to the gym. He walked by a gym one time. He ain't never been in a gym though. I'm just saying. I like this match. It was good. The thing with Arya Daivari, I don't have a problem with them doing the whole, my family's rich, whatever. I use that to get ahead. I would like to see like some sort of like video package or vignette like at his home or whatever. Just kind of so we can get an idea. I mean, because we've seen the $1,500 shirts and stuff like that, but we haven't seen like where he lives. Met any of his family to kind of get that idea. Like, okay, he is, and that he claims to be. Just to build on that character a little bit. But I definitely like the match. Noam Dar coming out with Alicia Fox on FaceTime, snapped Amy, and I was like, but they can. I'm just saying. But and then Cedric's like, I'm done with you, and hangs up on her. I was like, that.
He was like, don't you hang up on
me! Trouble trying to hang up on her though for a second there. He was like, it wasn't working. Well, I'm like,
what was funny? What was even funnier than that? I was like, because it's basically like a screen capture of his phone or whatever. And his text came up, and I wonder how many people like immediately looked and was like trying to see who was texting. Because I did.
I saw that. I'm like, oh, that could have been bad.
But next we had Austin Healy. Is that his real middle name? Austin Aries. On the status of his future because he just lost a match, and we got when you lose a match, we got to know what the status of your future is. But it was kind of good for Aries because I guess he's injured now. What was that? A knee injury, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, well, it was a couple of injuries. Like it was like a neck and knee type of an issue. But I like this just because like if you didn't know, he was injured, now you do, and because I didn't know, and now I do. I like when Tony Nese came out, even though like Tony Nese is practically a carbon copy of Neville. But I like when Tony Nese came out, and I like the kind of their back and forth, their banter, I guess you could say, because Aries is funny, and then Tony Nese is like, I ain't got time for your jokes, bruh. I ain't got time for your jokes. And then Gentleman Jack Gallagher came out, which I was excited about because we haven't seen him in like months. And if it hasn't been months, it's been at least 2 because he hasn't been there for a long time. But I was excited though, and he broke William III over like the midsection of Tony Nese, and I'm excited for their match next week. I'm excited for his return because it feels like we haven't seen him in a long time. Like we haven't seen him since he lost to Neville. I think I'm not mistaken for the title. I don't know where he went, but he was gone for a nice little bit. But Casey, any thoughts on Austin Aries, his future?
We've seen him since then on Raw, just because you don't watch Raw.
You just happen to see that one moment. You don't watch Raw either. You just happen to see. It was like your Jack Gallagher sensor went off. You're like, I got to turn on Raw right now.
I was like, wait, I sense a gentleman. Yep, it's Jack. Yeah, I think this should just be a thing in general in WWE. After anyone loses any match ever, they ask them what's their plan for the future. I think it's.
Are you gonna go back to Japan? They should have been like, are you gonna go back to Ring of Honor?
Are you gonna go back to that other company, the one with the
one that shall not be named?
But rest in peace, William III. I'm sure William IV will debut next week. But that was sad. It was. I texted DJ and he ignored it, of course, because I was like, "Rip William III." He ain't said nothing.
What was that supposed to say?
You're supposed to show your condolences or watch the season.
What was I supposed to say? Why are you watching 205 Live so late?
or you should have watched the CZW video I sent you, because did you watch that yet? Did you do it?
I'm gonna watch that in public where like people can be like, "Oh my God, what are you watching?" But
watch it in church. That's the best place to watch CZW. In church.
No. Next we had the TJ Perkins Rich Swann backstage segment where Rich Swann was trying to get TJP to find TJ Perkins. Which was weird to me, just because like usually when they go from one name to another name, they never, ever, 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 ever even mention the previous name. Like it's like it's like it never existed, and you'll never know it existed. If anyone has watched Boss Baby, they had the whole "forget the baby" spray or whatever that they spray on you. Or if you watch Men in Black, if you need a non-kiddie movie, if you watch Men in Black, they had the little thing to make you forget stuff. And that's what WWE does when they change people's names, like Neville. No one knows what his first name is ever. But I just thought that was weird that Rich Swann brought that back up. I was like, are they going to change his name back? Or like, what's going to happen here? And then he came out as TJP, and I was like, but wait, but Rich Swann said, but hold up though. But Casey, any thoughts on the backstage segment with Rich Swann and TJ Perkins? TJP.
It was a backstage segment. It was, I think what he really needs to look for, he needs to search for, is Manic. That's who he needs to look for. That Manic.
True. Gotta search for the mask again.
Yeah.
Then we had the video package with Mustafa Ali that was interrupted by Drew Gulak, which I liked. I love Drew Gulak and this character. Like, it's the best thing ever. It's the greatest thing like in life. I love it so much. It's so great. And he's doing it so well. Like he looks like the type of dude that like would like do this. Like I don't know what it is about him, but he's doing this so well. I love it. Thoughts on the Mustafa Ali and Tony
Nese? Yeah. I just like the terrible green screen with the generic background of like a pond or like scenery in the back. He needs to run for some sort of office. It needs to happen.
I mean, Kane did it, so
Rhino did it too. So yeah.
It could have been worse. They could have just, those backgrounds where they just throw paint at the wall that they've been using for via satellite. Those. But then we had the main event. We had TJP and Akira Tozawa going at it in the main event, which I was excited about. This is a good match. I liked it. I love both of these guys, so I was definitely excited for this main event. And it was good. I think it definitely got good once it got going, once the kind of momentum got going. They started to really do what they needed to do. I liked it. Also, like at the end, when TJP lost, unfortunately, because they hate that man. I like at the end when Neville joined Titus O'Neil, kind of talking down to Zawa and everything, and Titus O'Neil was like, "He's the future," and then just leaves, like mic drop. I was like, all right, Titus, just lead a king like that. It's messed up. But and it is kind of weird that no one's tried to recruit Neville, or like that Titus hasn't tried to recruit Neville, considering he is the champion. You would think that would make a little bit more sense than just Akira Tozawa, because why not? But Casey, any thoughts on Akira Tozawa versus TJP? But plus, Casey and I feel like you would agree with this. That's why I'm going to interrupt you. I feel like every time someone dives, either Randy Orton should come out or Drew Gulak should come out. Every time. More specifically, Drew Gulak. He should just pop up on the screen with a no fly zone sign. That should be it.
He should come out. He should pop up on the screen with his no fly zone sign, wearing a Randy Orton shirt.
Wearing a dive shirt.
But yeah, I thought this was a great main event. They worked really well together. Obviously, we knew Akira Tozawa was going to win. It feels like they're trying to push him. I'm not going to hold my breath, because at the end of the day, WWE doesn't know how to push Japanese people or Asian people in general. It's sad, but it's true.
What about Yoshitatsu? Go.
Where he at now, though?
Yo, Nandy somewhere.
Exactly. He on the minor indies. He's not even on the major indies.
He out there doing the 20 super kicks on a dive, and This Is Awesome chant. He out there doing that.
But yeah, look at that Shinsuke Nakamura. How well they pushed him on the main roster. Yeah. But yeah, definitely a good match. I love Titus O'Neil at the end with the king of the cruiserweights. I just don't think he realizes that he's a king, or he would have given more respect. I think that's the thing. He didn't tell him, "I'm the king of the cruiserweights."
I mean, you gotta put some respect on his name. Hey. But that was your 205 live review, 6/13/2017. We got NXT coming up here in a second, here in a little bit. So that'll be exciting. Other than that, 205 live was pretty good this week. I liked it. I'm excited for next week, though. They built it up pretty well. I feel like they already had matches booked, and I was like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. But anyway, I guess we'll see you guys on the next one. Be sure to follow us at ICW_podcast, of course. And we will see you guys soon. The predictions will be up eventually when I get a chance to actually put them up. So we'll see you guys next time. Hope you guys enjoyed.